Hello and welcome to this segment of Take 5 with Tony. I'm afraid we're not doing a canning class. Oh well. This time we're going to continue our conversation in the second in the series on economic growth. You'll recall from the first one that economic growth is pretty much assumed to be both good and necessary. It's really the foundation of our economic paradigm, our economic policy here in this country, and what we export to the rest of the world. We're going to raise a lot of questions about how long can we continue economic growth without making some fundamental changes in the design of our economy. But let's assume for a minute that we could grow pretty much forever. Who benefits? Well, 35 years ago when Ronald Reagan was assuming office, if you imagine the economy and the population, we had, you could say, a relative balance between the economy and the size of the population. Since that time, since 1980, the population in the United States has grown by 40%. Now, during that same period of time, the size of our economy, all the goods we produce, all the services we make, everything we buy and everything we sell has increased. Let's hope for the best here. By 400%. Population by 40%, the economy by 400%, 10 times greater. Now, the notion of economic growth leading to prosperity is sometimes expressed as a rising tide lifts all boats. The idea being that if there's more to go around, even if we don't all get the same share, everybody's going to do better. So that begs the question. If the population has only grown this much in the last 35 years, and the economy has grown this much, why are people not much better off? We know from multiple studies that working folks, the lower middle class and the middle class, are at best treading water. Many folks actually have less real income today than in 1980. We know that the poor, that we have higher percentages of people and sheer numbers, 50 million or more, living in poverty. Jacob Hacker looked at the numbers and he found that if income was distributed today as it had been distributed in the 1950s, middle income people would be about $12,000 richer every year in the income they earn. And we know too that as recently as 2009 and 2010, that 93% of the new income generated in our country went to the top 1%. So the tide has been rising, the pies have been getting bigger, but folks generally are not better off. Now, if all economic growth was geared towards productive activities, we probably wouldn't see this disparity. Here's one example. The pharmaceutical companies, some of the biggest and most profitable in our country. In an analysis done around 2008 and 2009, researchers found that the pharmaceutical companies were spending more on promotion and advertising than on research and development. In other words, they were spending more to sell drugs they had than to uncover and develop new medications to make people better off. That's just one of many examples of how economic growth, because, remember the GDP, it's indiscriminate, because it does not steer us towards necessarily productive activities, we can have tremendous amounts of growth without much jobs or prosperity for ordinary people. So we know then that economic growth alone is not solving our problems. It is not making the majority of people better off in this country or in other places. As we continue over the next several weeks, we'll look at other issues related to economic growth, and so perhaps leading to a new approach to building prosperity. Thanks, and see you next time.